Okay, this is the last part for our first day of training, where we'll talk about area of skill development. So, what are some areas that we'll be focusing on, especially in the early intervention programs? Some of the domains, and again, you don't have to think about memorizing all of these. A lot of it is rehearsal and practice, and your supervisor will help you understand some of these. So the domains are manding. Remember, we talked about requesting, asking for preferred items and objects. Then we talked about receptive language, following simple directions. Echoics, which is repeating sounds and words. Tax, labels, so labeling items, objects, actions, peoples, emotions. Answering simple WH questions. Imitating actions using objects. So, for example, pretending as if you're drinking from a cup, pretending as if you're eating from a spoon. So these are some of the domains, some of the basic programs that we'll start with. And then as the child continues to progress, we will increase the complexity and continue to move up in the higher skills. Now let's talk about basic teaching procedures. And now remember, this is just a review, and there's going to be a lot of rehearsal and feedback that will be provided to you on a weekly basis during every meeting with your supervisor on teaching procedures. The first teaching procedure that we focus on is what we would call as errorless learning. This is essentially what it says. We try to reduce the number of errors that the child is showing or the child has an ability to engage in. So how do we reduce the number of errors? We do that by providing prompts and then fading the prompt out. This is learning by saying and doing versus telling and showing. Okay, we reduce the errors by eliminating any opportunities to make mistake by increasing the level of prompts. This is also called as most to least prompting. So, for example, if I want to teach you to find cat in a book, which has a picture of cat, a dog, a flower, a house, a tree. So I might say, show me cat, and I might take your hand to where the picture of cat is, and I might point it to cat. That would be my most prompt. And then the second time I ask you the same question, I can say, okay, now point to the red cat. Where can you see the cat? The second time I might gently move your hand closer to the cat instead of full prompt of putting the finger on the cat. So I'm going from most, reducing the number of prompt, to the least prompt, where the next time I will only ask you that, hey, can you find the cat again? Or where is the cat? And then this time I will not give you any prompt, and I will just wait for you to give me a response. This is what is called an errorless. We get ahead of the errors by systematically providing a prompt, a full prompt, and then reducing that prompt. We also use the procedure of discrete trial training, which is intensive training, which means I give you a trial is when I would give you a command, then there is a response that I expect, and then there is a consequence like a reinforcer that follows. So a discrete trial includes basically breaking the skill into smaller parts, and you teach one sub skill at a time until you reach mastery criteria, which means the child can now independently complete the skill that you have shown him without any help, without any prompt. And when you are teaching, or when you're using discrete trial or intensive teaching, you are providing the prompts and prompt fading only as necessary, and you use reinforcement procedure. So if you remember in the earlier videos where we showed a picture of motor imitation and matching, those would be some examples of discrete trial, where I place a demand, I expect a behavior, and then you get a reward. So there was a chip that was given for one of the kid, and the other kid received a verbal praise. So that would be one trial. Now, each teaching session involves repeated trials, which means when I'm working on completing a puzzle, I will work on one trial or teaching that skill several times. There's a lot of repetitions, there are a lot of corrections, there are a lot of prompts. and prompt trading, because the more number of times I am able to present a teaching opportunity, the quicker you are going to be able to learn a skill. So each trial, like I said, has a distinct beginning where I give you an instruction, then I expect a response, and then for that response there is a consequence. So if you got it correct, I'll say great job, very good, I like you found the red cat. If you didn't point to the red cat, or you pointed to the dog, then I would just say, well, good try, but here's the cat, and I would prompt you to where the cat is. So here's another example. Touch your nose. When I say show me your nose, or where is your nose, or find the nose, I expect that the child will show me the nose, either on himself or on a picture or on a doll. And then if the child gets it correctly, I'll say, yay, good job, you found your nose. And then I might give him a cookie, or I might give him high five or a pat or something like that. Okay, we're going to watch a video again, and I want you to pay attention to the following things. Think about how the prompting is used, how most to least, how the prompt is being faded out. There are several trials in this videos, which means multiple instructions are being given. There's a lot of use of reinforcement in teaching, so pay attention to reinforcement, cards for teaching, and the pace. So again, this can seem like a complex video, and this is not an expectation that in the first week or just after watching the video you'll be able to teach exactly like how the person is on this video. This is a process. It takes time, and which is why when you meet and have consult with your supervisors, they'll help you tweak the teaching procedure, so that you can actually get as close as possible to this method. Okay, let's watch the video. Okay, now let's watch this video of a therapist.
Good. Do this. Yeah, what is it? Good. Vincent, what is it? Rhino. Rhino. What is it? Rhino. Good. Vincent, clap. What is it? Good. What is it? Rhino. Nice job. Do this. Do this. Touch your teeth. Yeah, what is it? Candy. Candy. What is it? Good. Vincent, what's that one? What's this? What is it? Good. What is it? Nice. Do this. TV.
Okay, so so the child's working on multiple demands. He's showing the body parts, his teeth. He's labeling the pictures. There's a lot of motor imitation when she was knocking on the table, or locking or interlacing the hand. Then there were some new things that she was working on, and you can see how a lot of card is being used. And then she's saying, "Good job." So this is what an intensive teaching would look like. But again, this is not what a typical teaching would be in EI. It'll be different. It'll follow the pace of the child, and then also, it is going to be a little more naturalistic.
All right. Vincent, what's this meow? Say yes.
Okay. Let's move along. Okay, let's move along. So like I was saying, while that was a lot of tabletop teaching, and it may not be appropriate for children of all age group, another form of teaching that we use a lot in especially early intervention is natural environment teaching, or NET. Like the name says, it teaches the child skills in the child's own natural environment and in their natural settings, while engaging in skills or tasks that typically take place in a child's natural environment. You follow the child's lead, and you take into consideration what is it or where is it that he wants to go, what are the things that he picks or shows preferences for. You can either create some of the child's motivation or use some of the naturally occurring motivation, and then you build on those preferences that the child has shown to teach them specific skills. Again, you use the principles of reinforcement, motivation, prompting and prompt fading while you're teaching the skills in natural environment. So some of those principles stays the same. It's just that now the setting has changed a little bit, and how we pick the goals or skills have changed a little bit. Okay, now let's watch another video of it's an example of a natural environment teaching.
Nice job. Hey, you did so good today, so you get to pick a game and we can play it together, all right? All right. Did you find something you want? What is this?
Letter game.
It's a game? What kind of game? Letter game? The alphabet beanbag. Okay, let's play on the floor.
Here, notice the instructor waits to see what the child finds interesting within the environment. Once an item is selected by the child, the instructor will use this item to incorporate educational targets.
What are these called? Do you remember what they're called? They're bean bags. With what on them? Letters. All right. Hey, what color do you want to be? What do we do? We throw them? Okay. How about you pick 3 colors to be? You have green. You have, what color is that one? Red, okay. And orange, okay. Those are your 3. Do you see anything else that you need? No, not that one. That's mine, silly. You need more? More what? Green. You need more green ones. And what else do you need? Red one.
So you see, this is a good example where the child picked the alphabet game and the therapist is working on numbers. So how many do you need? What colors do you need? Do you want to throw them? And then, so he's finding this opportunity of playing, of incorporating the game, and then he's teaching some of the skills which is centered around the game that the child has already picked. So this is what would be an example of a natural environment teaching. Okay, let's get back to our slideshow. Okay, here is another example of ABA-based teaching procedure. And when you look at this video, pay attention to some of the natural activities, again, for teaching skills. Think about some of the prompts that are being used for teaching these skills and use of reinforcement for teaching these skills.
Okay.
Oh yeah, on your mark, get set, go! We need a helicopter and a school bus. Yes, and a helicopter flies in the sky.
Yeah.
What else flies in the sky?
Airplane.
An airplane flies in the sky. That's right. Tell me an animal that flies in the sky.
No.
An animal can fly in the sky. That's a bird. A bird can fly in the sky. So you see, this is such a great example of how, just what flies in the sky: an airplane, a helicopter, an animal. What animal? A bird. So she gives a prompt, and then when he repeats, she says, yeah, that's right. So there's a lot of positive, proactive teaching. There's a lot of building of opportunities to teach and expand on a particular learning concept, while just being present in the natural environment. It does not require any particular form of being, at the tabletop or having a lot of cards. It just involves, toys and toys and stimuli that are already present in the child's environment, and the ones that that he is or she has shown interest towards. Okay, let's get back to our slideshow. Okay, this brings us to the end of our day one. We talked a lot about skill acquisition programs, and the role of parents. So remember, just to summarize, whenever we are talking about skill acquisition, we are looking at various domains as we discussed. Some of the focus for early intervention will be starting with requesting, some of the receptive skills, some of the expressive basic skills, visual performance, so puzzles, matching, sorting, shape sorter, answering simple questions, labeling pictures in the environment, using short words, simple phrases. And all of this is going to be taught by using natural environment teaching methods that we just saw, also using some systematic teaching. What is this, show me, and then using error correction procedures. And then as part of your 6-week program, your supervisor for the early intervention program is going to meet with you and is going to make sure that some of these learning opportunities and teaching opportunities are identified in their child's environment, and then you're able to make the most of them uh, by increasing their skills. Okay, now when you move to day two, you're going to watch a webinar on behavior management, and how we can learn about some of the dysfunctional behaviors. What are some of the reasons for dysfunctional behavior? How do we address it? I hope you're ready, and let's switch over to day two.